This is Houston. Say again, please.
And if, as CERN claims, they're only out to explore space-time matter, particles, and the origin of our known universe and planets from exclusively a scientific or Darwinian-related perspective, if their agenda is unrelated to Bible prophecy entirely, then what is it with all this mystical symbolism that they knowingly are associating themselves with? Wouldn't it be more appropriate for them just to proudly display a polished statue of a particle or some artist's depiction of the Big Bang instead of the statue of Shiva?
A recent investigation by Plus 972 magazine and Local Call reveals that the Israeli army has developed an artificial intelligence-based program known as Lavender, which does exactly that. According to 6 Israeli intelligence officers with first-hand experience, the Lavender AI machine determined who to kill and was obeyed with military discipline. During the first weeks of the war, the Lavender system designated about 37,000 Palestinians as targets and directed airstrikes on their homes. Despite knowing that the system makes errors about 10% of the time, there was no requirement to check the machine's data. The Israeli army systematically attacked the targeted individuals at night, in their homes, while their whole family was present. An automated system known as Where's Daddy was used to track the targeted individuals and carry out bombings when they entered their families' residences. The obvious result was that thousands of women and children were wiped out by Israeli airstrikes. According to these Israeli intelligence officers, the IDF bombed them in homes as a first option. And on several occasions, entire families were murdered when the actual target was not inside.
I've come here to speak to those of you who are still under the illusion that these people in front of me, or any other person for that matter, has authority over you. And also to speak for the people who still believe the lies the government promulgates. The only reason they act like tyrants is because people indulge the fantasy that they have authority over us. Indulgence in that fantasy is responsible for the pains of the past year and for the pains that our children will feel for decades, centuries to come. They have no more authority over you than I do. No more authority over you than any man has over you. A badge or a vote in a ballot box does not give these people magical powers that you and I don't possess. If you believe that we were ever in a pandemic, despite your eyes, ears, brain, heart, and instinct telling you otherwise, you are choosing to believe a mass murdering government over yourself. A government that cares so much about social gatherings that it bombs weddings in Afghanistan. A government that tells you to mask your 13-year-old while shooting another 13-year-old in the street. This was never a pandemic. This is far worse. If you believe these people care about you, I urge you to look up the following: Tuskegee experiments, the MOVE bombing in Philadelphia, the Dakota 38, Ruby Ridge, Waco, Wounded Knee, 1894 and 1973, and the Black Wall Street Massacre, the 100th anniversary, which is this month. Last time I was here, I spoke how we need to unify against these purveyors of hate. There is no left or right. There is only freedom and enslavement. These people consider all of us property. Our unification against them is the only chance our children have for survival. I'll end with a quote from Lysander Spooner. A man is no less a slave because he is allowed to choose a new master once in a term of years. Revolution is not a one-time event. Refuse, resist, rebel, revolt.